Mayor Dave and Mike Maples, and maybe you can tell us who you are in the audience, because we're thrilled to have you in the audience. And
Becky Van Horn,
Manhole?
Vanhorn.
Perfect. And that is Landon Osborne, okay? And then, of course, we have Steve Smith. Okay, thank you so much. We can take that off the list. Reusable bag committee update. I confess, I was supposed to, I realized today I was supposed to get the rest of the bags and take it to the food bank, get them out of the shed. I have not done that yet.
I'm not sure how many are in there, so
It
there
doesn't-
may not be any.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
I apologize. I didn't get there.
No worries.
The food bank has moved, so I'm going to use that as a pathetic excuse for not doing that. Okay? So that's
No
me,
problem.
sorry. Anything else there? Any sort of follow-up we should do with the Beartooth Market or anything you think of?
Signs are up there.
think so.
No.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Republic Services contract negotiations.
Have not heard back from them yet. The last I heard, they were going to have a sit-down, around December 1st, and then they were gonna get back to us. And I haven't heard anything yet, so it's right on schedule. That's how it goes.
So we're working off the old contract
Mhm.
because the contract expired. When did it expire?
July 25.
Oh,
Okay, well, in 6 months, you know?
Yep. There is one more thing on the reusable bags. You know, we had talked with Republic about getting some grocery bags, and he said, well, he volunteered them and said
and then,
that they have a lot. So that's still kind of hanging out there. We might be able to get some grocery bags, you know, the grocery style bags that have the square bottom.
Do you have Ryan's contact information?
Yeah,
Ryan from Republic, he's the guy that I think we all deal with there now.
right. And Julie
I
had
have
been in
reached out
contact.
several times
Yeah.
and nothing back.
She said she'd even pick them up in Billings, and he said, no.
Yeah, I said, I see them building signs, don't get them. He
I'll
said,
bring-
no, we'll figure something else.
So,
Never.
anyway, that's still something we should, you know,
Let's
keep
get back on track
on the
with
back
that.
burner.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that. There, he had tons of bags
Yeah.
for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, just for the offing, you know, and we could just hand them out, reusable bags.
Right.
Do you want me to
Okay.
try and get a hold of him again?
Yeah,
See
you
what I
have his
can-
number? I have a card somewhere.
Technology. Yeah, we sure do somewhere, but if you have one handy, that'd be great.
I think I do.
Maybe, absolutely. You can give some around town and so on and so forth, and so that'd be great. Yeah, just, I think you're gonna have to hound them.
Okay, that'd be great.
I think you're gonna have to hound them, kind of like the city is hounding the Republic.
Just show up on his
Can
doorstep.
you, when you call Ryan, things happen. when
Oh, there we go.
NA and I call Ryan, and these guys call Ryan.
Nothing.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Can you call in and ask him about the bags?
Yeah, I've written it down as well as I'll have that / paperwork.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so the next thing on our, list is Bear Committee update. I'm on the Bear Committee. We had kind of a well, it wasn't a finale meeting, but, BR, excuse me, from Yellowstone Wildlife Sanctuary, just received a $30,000 public education grant for bears. We talked about that last time.
Mhm.
I don't know if she's got the money yet, but she's got a lot of things on her plate with regard to that. So that's gonna be, watch for that, because there's gonna be a lot of informational stuff coming. We also wrote a $6,700 grant, and that was, I wrote that with, Leslie and BR. And, that was for, additional bear cans, for the, Forest Service to, Fish and Wildlife to use, as well as stickers to put on every bear can hopefully in Carbon County, about being bear aware, and with a QR code to things here at the, information here at, City Hall. And so we should hear, well, I thought we'd hear this week, but no news yet. So no news yet. But the bears, at least last week, were primarily sleeping. This week, I don't know,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So they have been seen around. So if anybody's hiking, please continue to, have your bear spray, because they love this weather just like we do, sort of. Okay?
You can't be done with your bear update yet.
Why?
Telling ya.
What'd I forget?
The lovely big new signs that are up on both
Yep.
sides of town.
Signs.
Oh, my God, no kidding. Thank you very, very much, City of Red Lodge. There's, bear signs on the north end of town and the south side of town about, being bear aware, and this is bear country, and put a lid on it. We're especially concerned, because, in District 5, which is a huge district from Livingston to north to Jordan, I believe, and
This is the Fish and Wildlife District.
This is the Fish and Wildlife District 5 of, I think there's 5 counties in it.
Mm.
Carbon County has the vast majority of bear-human contact issues. And so, we're getting pretty aggressive about, education. So,
And while black bears are way down this year, grizzly bears are way, way, way up.
way up,
That's why the black
the
bears
human
are
bear conflicts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Is there if we see evidence of bears, like in the alley knocking down trash cans, is there a number to call?
Call City Hall.
No, call dispatch.
Is it dispatch
It's
now?
dispatch is who you're supposed to call.
Thank you.
I mean, just so that the appropriate people are made aware that there's a bear in alley XYZ between such and such.
Yeah, so dispatch has a script. Can you see the bear now? Is it in a can now? Is there people around, blah, 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 and then they'll call either the FWP guys directly. We've got 2 bear we have 1 bear specialist and 1 bear something who's not a specialist, but technician.
But they're interested in just a report that a bear was in our alley and knocked something over, or there was activity.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
They know that.
Okay.
yeah, they are tracking that, and dispatch is kind of the default, the 1, 2, 3, 4 ideally. If it's a 911 situation, obviously use 911. And then what that does is that creates a record of it and a file, and it makes it into the heat maps that they're tracking all that information on.
What's that number for dispatch?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's
446.
446 1234.
At the Bear Aware meeting, the very first one, Fish and Wildlife made a great presentation, and they put up numbers. And I took a photo, but now I can't find it.
4461234.
Okay, thanks.
And,
Thank
and,
you.
yeah,
Fish and Wildlife just gave a brief, they haven't completed their year-end report, so that will be at our next bear meeting. But, they have all sorts of interesting graphs and, data with regard to, bear activity in and around Carbon County. So,
Okay, I can't find it.
we have suspended our, there have been a group of volunteers that have gone around the city to assess, the reliability of bear cans. And do they open, or did it stay open, is the latch working, that kind of stuff. And so, that has been suspended at least until spring.
Okay.
no more alley walkers for, until it warms up again.
Yep.
And I've heard secondhand that all of the replacement cassettes that were ordered, there was a the manufacturer,
That's right.
the supplier had a problem with their manufacturing line.
Right.
I've heard secondhand, meaning I've not heard it from Ryan, that those are supposedly in and finally
That's what
gone.
he told me, that they're up there, he was gonna bring them down.
And so I said, well, we don't have them in hand yet, but they're supposedly out there.
He can bring them with the bags.
Right.
And, I'd actually called the supplier and had a conversation with them, and that's why somewhere in there, we ended up with 250 with our name on them, so
Perfect.
hopefully they're here.
So who's going to, that's the replacement locking device. So we're gonna keep the actual physical bear can. It's the locking device. Who is going to replace that?
So a couple of things. A, they are trying out some other cans because of their dissatisfaction with that company. It is their responsibility, and despite protestations of my public works director, we are gonna have some canisters that we take care of to make sure the problem gets done. It's still their responsibility. They will still have some, but we will have some that we do to help make sure the problem gets done. It is technically their responsibility.
What happened to the ordinance?
The trash ordinance passed, so that is done. So $100 fine if you are purposely disabling it or not using a closing container and all the things that were in that.
But there's no $50 a day fine or whatever it was for, that's in.
No, that's, you're talking
Oh,
about
that's
the
the
performance
contract.
clauses in the contract that they have not responded to.
Okay, got it.
So, and again, they said they
Could
were
be a
gonna write
second.
all that in. We waited. They gave us their contract. It was a blank template, fill in the blanks. So we added some fill in the blanks. And that's what they have not gotten back to us on.
Okay.
that.
Got it.
And Mike's driving that. Except I'm apparently gonna call and rattle the chain.
Good. Great. Rattle away. All right, let's move on. Powell Valley Recycling, for glass. How is that looking? Anything there?
Same as before, we're just gonna wait and see where we get on this contract, and then
Do the Republic
Republic.
contract first and then, okay.
that's been planned since we met with them.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep it on the list. Any recycling center news? Anything going on there? All is well?
Sounds good, I think. I haven't heard anything, so that's good news. I did talk to Kyle about helping the IGA out with us bailing that cardboard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Rod was supposed to, I can't remember, he changed his plan again. First he was gonna buy 2 trailers, and then he was gonna try it with a dump trailer. And so far, I don't believe he's done his try with the dump trailer yet.
Okay. So they're still over at IGA? Yeah, they're all along that long wall. Okay.
It's a challenge of how do we get their cardboard to our baler?
Is that the city problem? It seems to me that would be the,
No, but we're doing what we can to help, because our objective is to make sure that the cardboard makes it into that.
okay.
And so he was looking at buying it, like I said, there's been an update since I've heard, they were looking at buying 2 flatbed trailers, filling one up, bringing it over, filling the other one up, and by that time, we would have emptied the other one. And you just had two that can go back and forth.
Originally, he was looking at just not doing recycling and just having Republic do more dumpsters more times a week and just get rid of the cardboard that way. So that's
Okay,
what-
thank you.
That's why we're
Thank you.
Yeah.
trying to do it. I think, it's a tightrope to walk because I think he wants us to come get it and
Mm.
that's.
There are things we are doing
He-
to help, making it our problem is not
recycling
one
for
of them.
50 years.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
don't, you know. seems
Who are you working with there, since Sean is,
Yeah.
Rod.
oh, it's
And
right,
Sean's still back and involved, but Rod is who we've been talking to.
okay, good.
And Mike mentioned it, Rod has been recycling since before 99% of the rest of us had ever even heard of it. I mean, literally more than 50 years. That was his first job as a teenager, was recycling cardboard.
I didn't know that.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool, good for
that's like
him.
his first job as a teenager.
In Red Lodge?
I don't
Probably
remember
not.
if no, because they didn't move here till the 70s, so.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, moving along, solar data collection update. It seems like, there was a conflict, so we'll have to reschedule how to do that.
Yeah, and I got hold of Henry today, for whatever reason. We have two facilities that supposedly they will look it on your phone, so I'm trying to get that all set up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's been a long story, but we had problems with our router up at Public Works for a long time.
Mm.
We had it working, and then the router went out, we got a new router, now it's not talking anymore, so. I don't know, Henry's kind of walked me through it, I think he's just gonna have to come back and figure out what's going on. But
Okay,
it's working, it's making power, but you just can't monitor it.
You just
Okay.
can't report on it.
Okay.
when you get that figured out, will you let us know, because we'd like to just kind of,
Well, my goal is just give you guys the
even
app
better.
and the password, and then
Right.
you can monitor away.
Yeah.
That would be great.
But it'll only do Public Works in the pool while the pool internet is on.
The pool is done. The pool is, there is a,
Yeah, no, it's on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll go to that thing, but it won't go to the thing when we turn the internet off in the winter.
Right.
Because we turn the
Oh.
internet off in the winter, it's $200 a month,
okay, no need to have that.
so.
Okay,
and
okay,
we won't be able to monitor, we might be able to monitor the libraries. I don't know anything about their system. I bet we can. That was installed by a different installer. So I don't know what kind of software they have. That one, in the recycling center, there's no internet down there, so we won't be able to look at that one other than manually.
okay,
Mhm.
and we could do that. Okay. All right, so that's just in progress. Roman theater players and our PSAs, I asked Ann if she had an update. I don't know where this is at. Does anybody?
I thought just waiting to meet.
She said something about meeting, and I said I would be happy to go too, but I haven't heard anything.
Okay, we might want to take that off her plate, I'm just saying.
She gave us some great ideas.
Yeah, we've got great ideas.
No, we just need to meet with,
Yeah.
people, right, yeah.
You know what, my
Okay,
original contact was Becky Larson. If it's okay with you, I will reconnect with her and ask her if she's had a conversation with Ann, and I don't think Ann will care.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and then maybe we can organize something so we can get a conversation going.
Yeah, okay.
And Becky. I will do that. And, if we can arrange a meeting sometime next year, early next year, let's do that.
Okay.
For those of you, not in the know, we are, the Roman theater players
Mhm.
have, readily agreed to, I think they're gonna improvise some PSAs with regard to, how to recycle, what to recycle, you know, and we had a half dozen ideas.
Mhm.
What kind of plastics can you recycle? And, it'd be probably a minute or less, you know, type of thing. We have one that the green team did on how to open a bear can, things like that. What we're gonna do is those are gonna go into the city, somewhere in the city, and then the, URL code is going to be, will be linked to that, at least from the bear cans. And then, the Roman Theater has readily agreed to, play these PSAs, before movies and in between movies. So, yeah. So we'll get some local talent and, yeah, but, yeah, we gotta get that rolling.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do.
Any other old business? Any other old business? Okay, new business, the Red Lodge Sustainable Home Tour. Did you do that, Mary Jo?
Mhm.
How was it? Tell us about it.
It was good.
How many homes?
There were 2 homes. They were both new construction, relatively new, and 2 businesses. One, Beartooth Animal Hospital, and Red Lodge Ales.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And Sue Bugh hosted us at the vet's office, and she was talking about in '87 they built the clinic, and they researched all these various solar gain and how to use, recycle air inside, and it's quite, it works fairly well still, all these years later. They've put in the thermal blinds now, that they put down at night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started adding solar in 2014, and they just added another array, recently.
Is it rooftop or on the side?
It's on the roof.
Roof, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And they have 1 meter out there, and I think they're on Beartooth Electric. So their house is on it as well as, the clinic and other outbuildings. So that was interesting. Then the 2 new builds were, very sustainable, I would say. Both had solar arrays that were on the ground, so away from the house. The one house has, they catch all they filled water tanks, big water tanks, and then built the house around that, and now they're catching water off the roof. But, the solar, the windows, the heating. So, yeah, it was a really, really good tour. And then we ended up at Red Lodge Ales, and they have solar, of course, and we're trying to do some other sustainable things. So it was a good tour. About 30 people attended.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super.
So,
Good.
and it benefited Carbon County Resource Council.
Right, perfect.
So, yeah,
I love it.
it was good.
Think they'll do one again?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Got to do things at least 3 times.
nice.
Before people are like, hey, let's do that.
Okay. The next thing is the McKinsey report, the facility improvement summary. I forgot my glasses, so I'm going to have,
You need big ones for that.
I know,
Yeah.
I can hardly read this. And so, I'm gonna have somebody else with, better eyesight than I volunteer to, we're gonna just kind of click off these things. And again, these copies that I gave you, I can't remember, some of them,
I gave it to Brian and had him go through it for City Hall.
okay,
And I
so,
can update on that, and you can just cross out the ones if you want that are done.
Do I have a copy of this at all that I can,
I've got a copy right here, Dave.
no, I meant electronically, I'm sorry.
There's gotta be one on the
You
sustainability,
should,
in the sustainability,
Email you one.
folder.
Okay, yeah,
That's
got
fine.
that, then I can put it up on the,
Oh, I see.
Oh, it's probably in the sustainability folder, but I don't know. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Let's see here.
Can I ask a question? For the ones that aren't, like, when we go through this, for the ones that aren't done, if there isn't any real annual savings, or if it's gonna take us like 20 years to see the
Yeah.
savings, is it,
Are we making a decision on whether we're gonna pursue them or just
Good question.
table it? Like,
We're
why
gonna-
do we keep, leave it on the list if we're never really gonna be able to?
It's away.
Like,
It did.
Is this the
We'll
one that has
probably
Brian's
just
scribbles on it?
table. I don't want to take it off completely.
Okay.
It's got 2 or 3 people's scribbles on it, so.
Mary Dale, would you run this? You've got better eyesight than I do. If
Or
you
he's gonna
were-
read off the list, because he has it all
Yeah.
checked off already. That's his-
So Mike's gonna, and I think Dave's trying to get it up
Right,
on the
once
screen.
Mr. Mayor gets it up there, I'll read
Okay.
through it.
We'll see how much time you have, yeah.
Okay.
Well, see if he can catch up. I'll start with the first one. The first one was City Hall, blah,
I
blah,
know.
blah. Cross the first one out. Cross the second one out. Cross the third one out.
Why don't you just just say what they are so everybody knows?
First one was City Hall radiator control valve replacement. We don't have radiator control valves anymore, so
Right.
it's gone. City Hall insulation, that was all done.
Yep,
The-
that's done.
yeah,
Was it done or is it no
No,
longer?
It's done. It's
Okay,
insulated, done, completed.
done.
City Hall steam, well, that's done, replaced.
Well-
Fourth one is Chamber of Commerce cooling, I don't know, so put a question mark by that one. Chamber of Commerce furnace replacement, question mark.
That's not done.
City Hall furnace replacement, you can cross that off. Police station IT cooling, I think it says.
Mm-hmm.
That one is question mark. City Hall programmable thermostat. I know there's a new one upstairs, and
This side of the building is, that side of the building is next year.
Okay,
so there you go.
okay, in progress.
You can put a half by it.
So you can put
And there's a
you can
plan
turn
for
it down at night and that.
It actually does even better than that. It automatically comes and says, it's one of those net
Program.
type things where at 7
Oh.
o'clock, we want it to be at this temperature. You figure out how cold it is and how soon it needs to pick up and.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Police station garage thermostat is a question mark. Public Works has not been done, that's the next line, Public Works programmable thermostat. City Hall outdoor air lockout is done, it can be crossed out.
That's because the boiler is gone. It was tied to the boiler.
Chamber of Commerce LED upgrade is a question mark.
By a question mark, meaning we don't know
We don't know if it's
what the
done or
status of it at all.
Yeah.
Okay, got
not.
it.
So all the question marks are ones that have to be run down yet.
Okay.
City Hall occupancy sensor, I have a big no on it. Oh, he's cut it there.
Which sounds like it's not done and we don't anticipate it being done.
Oh.
That's how I would translate that.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
who wrote that one, but,
Okay,
same thing for the police, question mark. Treatment building, indoor LED lighting is no, it has not been done, and that might be, I don't know if Northwest Energy is still doing grants for those or not, but I'll look into that.
okay,
City Hall basement LED upgrade, it says LED bulbs installed, so that one's done. Water treatment solar panels, that one has not been done. City Hall domestic hot water tank insulation, they installed new tanks with insulation, so that one is done. Chamber window upgrade is a question mark.
I know that hasn't been.
Sewer influent outside LED light upgrade is not done, and I'll maybe tack that in with MWE and see if we can get a grant. Vehicle charging station replacement of chargers is done. Public workshop infrared heaters, we have one building, the building was built up there in 23. Currently doesn't have a heater, and I've got a guy quoting me a price for an infrared for that one, so in progress.
But we don't have any non-infrared.
We
anymore.
do in 2 other buildings up there. They just have the, the hanging natural gas heaters.
Hmm.
And he's coming back, with some specifications too, because we have to have 6 feet from the vehicles to the heater.
Hmm.
And with some of the, like, the grader in there, the dump trucks, he's gotta figure out if he can figure out a configuration where we can meet that setback. The police station infrared heater, I think is a question mark. Would you know, do they have one in there?
I don't know.
I don't know either, so.
Right here, 13 bottom.
Vehicle storage infrared heater, I wasn't sure what they're talking about for this. Do you know what building they were referring to? Anyone?
Yeah.
Say it again, which one?
It says,
Which,
vehicle storage infrared heater. We have a couple of those. I don't know, we don't have infrared heater in any of them, so that's a no.
Unless that's tied to the police Sally port out there, because that's a garage too, but like I said, still a no. I wonder if that's what it's talking about, but it's,
And then,
like, if we impound one, that's where they get stored, assuming it's in storage
Oh,
inside.
okay, all right.
yeah, I didn't know what building I was referring to, and it said vehicles storage exhaust fan installation. It looks like Brian wrote fall 23 yes on that.
Oh,
So I'm gonna say that's done.
Okay.
But again, I'm not sure what building that's referring to.
right.
We could follow up with Brian and find out.
Well, that's not so bad.
okay, Mike, you said, I got, the one about, the Northwest Grant.
I'm
Which one
looking for the LED lighting ones for the water treatment plant and for the.
Which one is the water?
Sewer influent outside LED
This one.
upgrade, I'm gonna,
And this one.
This one, yeah,
I'm
this
gonna,
one.
I know for a while they were doing grants to the.
Yeah,
But I think it's I don't know if it's phased out or if they're still doing it, I'll look into it.
okay, we can check that out. Or you're gonna check that out?
I'm gonna check
Okay.
it out.
Okay, perfect. So, what we wanted to do was take a look at this. This, was presented to council in 22, maybe 23. And, council decided not to hire the McKinstry, group to, handle, to prioritize and handle, and implement, many of these projects. And so, we're just gonna do it on our own. So, projects that are doable, how can we be helpful? Mike, how can we be helpful?
Well, I think, I think it'd be good to transform this scribbled up list into what hasn't been done, because it's probably about half maybe. And then we'll look at that and
And you could almost,
prioritize that. I mean,
and organize it by like chamber, police department, like those areas.
That
and-
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
We look at the chamber as a whole and.
Prioritize things a little bit, look at some of the costs, and not, because some of them are kind of expensive. So I think a priority of what's realistic in terms of where we start at, and then.
Well, and like Joy said, if there's a payback in, 100 years, then we might wanna put that on hold.
well, and the chamber,
Table it.
aren't they taking some of their grant dollars to do some assessment over there for some of the improvements they want to make?
Yes, they
And
are.
So we could make sure
Okay.
that the chamber's aware, and these things should be, make sure that they're included in that assessment, and they
Of the
might,
chamber.
yeah, and put
Yeah.
it on the chamber to figure that out.
Do we have a volunteer to organize this?
I'll take it.
Thank you,
Well,
Joy.
you're not gonna like me later, but that's fine.
Thank you, Joy. That would be great to
Yeah.
organize this, and
Yeah.
then we can start to prioritize. I was hoping that we could, take a look at Energy Conservation Plan goals, but it's so closely, a lot of them are closely tied with this document, that might be an unrealistic expectation for this meeting, unless somebody thinks
I think it makes
differently.
sense, like, once we organize this, to have
I
that
think so, too.
conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that
Okay.
these are the only goals, but this group took the energy conservation plan and then examined every building, every public building, every city public building, and decided what needed to be done and what was completed and all that kind of stuff. So I think this would be a good place to start. Can you get that done by next meeting?
Yeah.
That's not until next year, so.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. You're good. Okay. All right, so we're gonna put energy conservation plan goals, we're gonna summarize. So, and let's summarize it so it's readable and understandable, because I think there was a couple things here that, we weren't sure about. And then plan on looking at some goals, okay? And we decided last time we wanted, goals as a committee. We were originally gonna do individual goals, but, it works better, there are only a few of us, and it works better if we, besides the, public service announcement goals.
Mm-hmm.
That work?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we are through with our agenda.
We already asked for public comments. so
Yeah, is there any, are there any public comments at this time? Oh, here we go. All right. And you are?
Do we stand up for this one, or we can just sit down?
We're kind of a casual group.
Okay, no worries.
But get close enough to the.
Oh, you have to get
mic
close to
that-
this,
that
so
the mic-
please come up here. Sorry.
Right, so, my name's Deborah Scheffner, I live in Carbon County, and I'm here to make you aware of a petition that a friend of mine started on change.org. The petition is, entitled, and you can look it up, Preserve Lions Park in Red Lodge. Currently, we have 277 people that have signed our petition or the petition. And the petition, again, is about the park. I can read it to you briefly or summarize it if you'd like.
Please summarize.
Yeah. Okay, so generally speaking, because of what you folks do as far as sustainability and so forth, the idea is to maintain the green space that is currently the park and to not put the concrete pad over it just because, we have enough concrete, number one. Number two, the whole idea for Red Lodge is, or for any town, is to keep its green space. So the general idea is to do that, to change the park. Besides taking the green space, there's also the lighting issue, which disturbs the residents, disturbs the creatures in the area. Just, sorry, going through this because I was going to read it.
If you're more comfortable reading it.
That's fine,
No,
You know.
they just,
that's fine.
it's fairly long, that's why I was like, yeah. Anyway, environmentally, overall, is what we're looking at as far as just saving the green space that's the park currently, right? And again, if you look on change.org, you can find that, and it's, again, literally called Preserve Lions Park in Red Lodge.
Okay.
You can look it up, and you can, get the general gist of it, but anyway, since you're the sustainability people and the green space people and all that, then I think you should know about it and educate yourself on this situation, which I'm sure you already are, but at least I hope so. But anyway, and maybe sign the petition. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Do we want to discuss an opposing view on that? The people that are for the ice rink? Is there anybody with an opposing, that's here? If not, I can talk about it. I mean, again, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't keep green space, not saying that, and lighting is also a thing, but I think there are things that the people haven't considered, and I think as a sustainability isn't just making sure that we have you know, energy efficiency and things like this, it's also about our town being sustainable and making sure that we are still attracting and keeping tourism dollars here so that we can keep thriving. And I don't know if there's been an analysis on green space, but we've added significant green space when you look at what's being done over near Rotary Park with the buildings being gone and that turning into green space. Also, lighting can be set on timers. Also, if you think about it, places that do have permanent ice rinks, there's a lot of different things you can do to make that area used for other things. So, for example, you could throw turf over it if you want, you know, to still be able to have, you know, things that can be played on. And so I think there's things that people aren't thinking outside the box to overcome some of the issues with the idea of getting rid of this green space, because there really is quite a bit. And I think that the opportunity for farmers market to have people be, first of all, it's not handicap accessible today. With the new layout, it would be handicap accessible, especially as the population here ages. And then also just thinking about being able to bring more people into the community with ice tournaments and people being able to ice skate. We look at how warm it is right now and nobody's skating, and they could be skating right now. And that is such a part of, I mean, ice skating has been a part of Lions Park for a long time, and I know that they're not saying get rid of ice skating at all, but I do think that our seasons are getting really contracted, and that's something that is really missing. And so just another view on how to look at that particular issue.
Thank you. So the concrete will be cooled, is that?
I would have refrigerated coils in it
And that
to
would
keep
be,
the ice.
city would pay for that?
No, I don't think so. It's a grant. And they would
I
have
don't know
to
if
get,
that, it would.
I
it
think
would
they
be
have to get more money to
To
actually.
keep it sustainable.
They have two phases, phase one and phase two. Phase one would level everything
Mhm.
where it's a bowl now. It would be leveled, and so that they could, you know, put the concrete on there, so. And I don't think anybody was opposed to that, really, to, you know, making it not sloped on that end of the park. It was originally done, so they could flood it for the ice rink, the sloping part, so.
And there are plans, and I don't know if I know that they were posted, because the city had hosted that big grant review thing at the Roosevelt Center a few weeks ago, and they had images of what the proposal will look like and things like that. So it's not just this eyesore of a metal or a concrete slab that's going to be put there.
Who would be paying for the coils to stay cool throughout the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 years?
We don't have that information here because those people that wrote that proposal aren't here, but it's my understanding that with the revenue, bringing some of these people in, because they're going to pay fees to play tournaments, so there's things that, you know, and just like, so, I mean, all that needs to be discussed. I mean, I don't have those answers.
So that would be taking a public space and turning it into a revenue generator?
I don't know the answer to those questions, and without anybody here representing that side, I don't think it's fair for us to have that discussion.
Okay.
And why was Lions Park chosen?
I think just because that's where the rink is
Opposed to
today.
Because
Coal miner or something else?
that's where it is now,
Oh.
and it's,
And I know that there's some opposition with things going up at Coal Miners Park because of the animals up in that area.
The lighting?
the lighting.
Well, we received a letter, we all got it
Mm-hmm.
today. And it is interesting in that we do address green space
Mm-hmm.
and permeable
Pavement.
pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that is in our energy conservation plan, that it is a goal to preserve as much green space as possible and to avoid impermeable surfaces.
Is there any, and I'm not familiar, is there anything in our plan, though, that allows for alternate green space? Because like I said, we've added green space since that plan was written.
Not really, it's just sort of a
It's not a
general.
quantitative.
Oh, it's
thing.
not?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
No,
Mm-mm,
no.
not in the plan.
So is it the Parks Board that makes this, it's City Council?
Dave,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I may.
please.
So the grant that was applied for, the city had no process in that. It's a tourism grant that's available. I I think I first became aware of it during the Business Alliance meetings, because the different businesses were looking at what would come up there. Some, not all, but some of the proposals, what they did is they wrote a grant. The objective of the grant was to win the grant. There had been a previous attempt in joining with some other communities and such that hadn't worked, and so they went in and said, well, what worked, what didn't work? So they wrote that grant. They did bring me in, and I am on the board, and my role there is basically to make sure that they understand that there's a lot of things that are going to need to come before the city. So, for instance, if they're doing anything in city-owned land, AKA Lions Park, that's ultimately going to be a city council decision. Prior to going to that, it will go through the standing committee, the land use and parks, and it will also go to the parks board for that conversation. So, and those conversations have not taken place yet. I do have staff reports coming in, because now that it's this is what they're saying, this is what we want to do, and they want to look at that. We have staff reports that are looking at it. I will tell you that one of the comments for anything from a gazebo to an observatory to a soccer field, anything, one of the things that comes from to the city is, what is this going to be like to maintain? So from a city's perspective, and I'll use the pool as a really good example, it's not, or the observatory, or like I said, pick anything in town. It's not a matter, from the city's perspective, we don't say, if the city is ultimately responsible for maintaining this someday, it is assumed that someday this is going to be a city responsibility to maintain, whether you're talking tennis courts, pickleball courts, a swimming pool, coils that go down, a gazebo. The working assumption is that it is going to someday be the city responsibility. And that's information that the council will hear from the folks proposing it, because they may say, hey, we have a night watcher sky, and we're going to take care of everything we need to for the observatory. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Let's hope that goes forever. Someday that's going to be our responsibility. Same thing for ice. You know, Red Lodge Ice has been around as long as we have pictures that are black and white, because they didn't even have color photos. It's always been a part of that park. But it's the city's responsibility of maintaining that, and you know, with sprinkler systems that go bad, and so this isn't any different. It's something that's going to come before the council, will go before Parks Board. Those conversations haven't taken place yet, but there will be ample opportunity for all sides and opinions to be heard. And that's my job, is to make sure that public vetting happens. So.
And have they received the grant?
Yeah, the grant has received. So they were awarded the grant earlier this year, and it's actually, I want to say it's a 2.75, but only like the first 1.5 or something has been funded. So they've been awarded the whole grant, but in order to actually get it, it has to make it through, because it's a 4-year grant, and the state funding level only happens every other year. So presumably they will fund it. They've talked far more about expanding and giving more money than not funding the full grant, is my understanding.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that if you look at the 5 different projects that have been proposed in this particular tourism grant, any one of them, well, not any one of them, but several of them will take a lot more money than the grant itself. Am I correct on that? So it's not like this is a done deal.
Well, it's not a done deal, because, so I'll speak to the 2 that are on city lands. It's not a done deal even if they have 100% of the money, because it still requires city approval to do that.
Okay.
So the funding is a small portion of it. There is a portion of the budget so in the resort tax budget, there is a budget number that was set aside for that. I will publicly offer Dave's magic thinking and looking at it. And again, I don't even vote on this, but as I read the card and I read the decks, I think what's probably going to happen initially is what you're going to see is that field I dare say this out loud. I think what you're gonna see is that field leveled out and replanted and seeded, but it'll be, right now, when they put in, the ice that they do right now, so somebody mentioned, it's a big hole in the ground. That's when it starts, 70, however many years ago it was when they did that. They dug it as a hole in the ground, and they just filled it with water and let it freeze. Then the technology improved, and now we have little gates around it, so it's only right there, and it doesn't take quite as much water. Right now, it's like 2 inches thick on one side and 1.5 feet thick on the other side. So for being a flat field, it's not level. And anybody who's walked across that or watched older people or people talk about the handicap accessibility of it, that's not there. So I think
2013
was,
is when they dug that.
Oh, really?
Was it?
I don't believe so.
I found the article that the city donated money to make it a bigger rink.
I know that Merv filled it up when he was much younger, so I think it's been, but like I said, so I think,
Sorry.
that's all right. What I think is gonna happen next is going to be a leveling of that field and reseeding it in grass. The cooling part is done with coils. Those can be laid down and rolled out, and we actually have several of those throughout the state of Montana and neighboring states, Idaho and such. This is where you're gonna get some opinion from Dave. What the concrete gives you is not necessarily better ice, but the convenience of not having to roll up and relay the cooling down every year. So to me, that's just, it started out, it was a hole, and then it was part of, so this putting down coils is just a piece of technology. You still have sun, you still have rain, you still have other things that are not friendly to ice.
50-degree days.
Pardon?
50-degree days.
These ice panels, they have one down at Circle of Palms in California. So temperature is not the only factor. They have Carson City, Nevada. California has ice rinks around the clock. So,
Right.
I think there are parts of it that are a universal improvement for the town in all sorts of ways. A level field that's smooth and not bumpy, I think is advantageous. So that I can see kind of moving forward. I think the coils, it's kind of like, let's see what coils do before you do anything permanent or destructive or whatever else. If it comes back and it's like, oh, coils aren't enough, maybe you need to have a cover or you need to have things, then I think your council is going to be much more inclined to say, let's start looking at other options or other alternatives in other places. But if coils do it, I think there's an advantage, certainly from a tourism standpoint, of having it be where it is. And like I said, I know there's pictures from the 70s there. And I've seen black and white. So it's been there for a really long time. But having been privy, whether it's running tech or just going to a lot of the different meetings, and because I've heard this discussed I literally can't count how many meetings because I don't have that many fingers. But to say it's been discussed, or toes, to say it's been discussed is none of it has come before the body that's making the decision. That grant board is a group that got together and said, let's go apply for some specific projects and see if we can get some money and bring it into Red Lodge. They understood that many of their goals and visions have a dependency on the city okaying things. They understand that. Those conversations haven't taken place yet. They don't get to go use it for something else. There have been people, how come I didn't apply, or how come I didn't? That's the equivalent in my mind of complaining I didn't get the scholarship that somebody else applied for and I didn't, going into school. But it can't be reused to something else. So rather than using it to having something to do with ice skating, you have to use it for a big purple tent on the south. It can't. It's approved for purpose X, to improve the winter sustainability within the city. Yeah. My 2 cents is, I think there's a whole lot of variations and a whole lot of things that do that don't even come close to touching on much of the weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth that I've heard. And so, like I said, the city portion, what my main comment was, what is the city and what is the grant? The city wasn't involved with the grant process other than saying you do realize you have to come to the city to get approval for some of the things you're talking about. That is the extent of the city involvement. And before that happens, Parks Board is going to hear it, Council's going to hear it, we're going to have staff reports, we're going to have research. The stuff that they've done right now, part of their grant is to have somebody come in and say, how much is this going to cost? What is it going to cost to maintain? And it's like the equivalent, we have what we call a preliminary engineering report that we do in the city before we do a water project, before we do a sewer project. That's stuff that's in their grant, is we want to pay somebody to come in and say what's doable, what's not doable. My understanding is that hasn't happened yet. And there's people who've you know, got it well beyond that. It's not there yet. I hope
Okay.
that helps.
So to kind of paraphrase or to sum up, it sounds like, first of all, thank you, you know, for your comments. That's awesome. Thank you for thinking of us, as far as the city sustainability. We are not decision makers. It sounds like if you feel strongly about this, Parks Board should be addressed and your city council representatives should be addressed. And I'm sure there's going to be more meetings about this. This is a hot button issue. And so I would strongly urge you to stay involved. Yes, ma'am.
I still have a public comment.
Please.
Okay.
Say your name.
Good evening, private citizen Van Horn. I would like to begin by explicitly stating that recent attempts to silence me have failed. Tonight, I would like to speak on the matter regarding the proposed changes to public city parks and their relationship to the City of Red Lodge Energy Conservation Plan, which specifically states the target goal for 50% reduction in emissions by 2040. The energy conservation strategies laid forth in this plan specifically identifies impermeable urban surface reduction and future surface design, as well as landscaping and water management systems, as some areas where the City of Red Lodge can help offset their carbon emissions, which most of which comes from municipal facilities. I'm sure you guys know with that report you did earlier. Under the codes and land use overview, the report states that land use policies can also be used to encourage the development of green spaces, including vegetation, soils, and other elements and practices to restore some of the natural processes required to manage water and create healthier urban environments. These spaces provide habitat, flood protection, cleaner air and water, and these green spaces increase surrounding property values and make cities more welcoming and attractive. The document states, the goal of our codes and land use strategies is to formally protect our green spaces and more consciously develop Red Lodge in an environmentally sustainable way. Page 47 for reference. The plan also states that the city should take steps to create and maintain our green spaces, as well as preserve open space through conservation easements. In fact, conservation easements are specifically identified in all three phases of land use and management portion of the Energy Conservation Plan. So you can see that on page 50. In the impermeable urban surface reduction and future surface or resurface design segment of the plan, it identifies the needs for creative surfacing designs and for zoning revisions to include permeable surface requirements. A recent study done on the water quality of Rock Creek shows that we are already at alarming levels of pollution. How will these proposals to city parks help? I would encourage those on the Sustainability Board to consider both the City of Red Lodge Energy Conservation Plan and the Red Lodge Growth Policy, which specifically states the importance of historical preservation and our growing impact on the environment. Please ask questions about the proposed projects to our public city parks. How much will they cost taxpayers? How will these proposed projects affect the goal to reduce emissions? Is putting more energy and monetary resources into facilities with no climate controls the long-term solution to the problems they are currently facing? Or is it just a costly Band-Aid out of step with the clear and thought-out plans of the city, that the city of Red Lodge themselves have commissioned? What purpose does it serve to pay for these plans and reports if they are not considered? Across the state of Montana, and even right here in Carbon County, public parks have come under threat of development. It is up to us to protect them. Thank you for your time. Private Citizen Van Horn.
Would you mind emailing that to us? I would be more than happy to. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Do you need our email addresses or?
I think I can find it online, right?
Yeah, they're all on our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, we have nothing else on the agenda, and if there are no more
Can I just make a quick comment?
yes, you may.
So,
Come up here so you're
absolutely.
on the microphone.
I'm more of an off-the-cuff kind of person, so I don't have anything prepared. But I came from a place that was very, very, very much a concrete jungle with a lot of green, not a lot of green spaces, but there was green spaces, parks, we used to call them green belts because they were just a belt that ran kind of through the city of niceness to be able to go into and kind of enjoy a little bit of nature. And having come from that kind of place, there used to be a lot of really cool parks that I used to be able to go to, and, you know, eventually, hey, well, this is a better idea for this park, and eventually those green spaces just got eaten up, and there was no more green spaces. And that's kind of the trend of the world these days, is everything needs to be paved over, everything needs to be easily accessible, everything needs to be handicap accessible too, which I'm not saying that that's a good or a bad thing, but that's the trend that we are going towards. And that's kind of the most amazing thing about this city, and why I love living here, is that it's not that way. I can walk down from my house to work, 0.8 miles from my house to work, and I get to see deer, I get to see moose, I get to frolic through the grass and go underneath trees, and I get to...
Sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
3 minutes
But there's all these beautiful, amazing natural elements to this town that you just don't see anymore. And everybody's trying to commercialize and try to create something and be the next, what's the way that we make money? And I think the thing that brings people back, because I get to talk to a lot of really amazing people at my store, I get to talk to people from all over the world. I had a beer this summer with a guy from Australia that was going around the world just talking to random people and trying to figure out their political views. And we sat there for about 4 hours and had a beer or a few, and they got to have these amazing conversations. And he said that this was one of the best towns he'd been to because the people here are just so amazing. And the environment that this place cultivates is just unique. It's not like anywhere else in the U.S. And I get that we are getting more and buying more public land and natural land for the city to keep. But just because we're buying more doesn't mean that we should be giving up some of the most prime real estate for you know, to make it into a concrete jungle. I mean, I can't tell you how many cities I can think of around the world that have such an amazing, beautiful little piece of greenery right there in the center of town, where you can go and grab food and then walk over to the gazebo and hear somebody playing music and having an event and children playing and soccer games and all the different stuff. So that's, I mean, it's something special, and I don't think you guys should squander that. It's very, you know, there's 1,000 lots here in Red Lodge that are awful, that are not useful, that are not being used, that are already concreted, that are already, there's already plenty of places that this ice rink could go to. And I get that it's not going to be in Lions Park, but that doesn't detract from the fact that there would be a sustainable, full-time available ice rink that could still be used in town without having to suffer or without having to take away the little bit of greenery that we have left in this world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was quite eloquent.
I think that's just something to kind of think about when you guys are thinking about all this stuff and having to go over it, is that, you know, there's only so much green left.
I have another question, if you don't mind. So I understand about the Parks Board, but I don't understand why you folks wouldn't be involved too if you're the Sustainability Board. I don't understand why.
We're not
you-
involved in
don't
any sort
think
of
we are.
decision-making.
I don't think.
No,
we
but
are.
neither are
We
the
can
other ones,
certainly
are they?
have an opinion.
No, right, I understand that, but the Parks Board only has an opinion too, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't you have an opinion? I hear that it keeps going through the Parks Board, through this, through that, you know, but I don't understand, I would think that you would have an opinion based on the concept of sustainability.
And
Dave, maybe
and
you can
Oh.
answer this question, because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, all the city, all these subcommittees, like resort tax would be, you know, so at some point, you know, does everybody have an opinion?
Sure.
Or is it, I guess, I mean, you as the mayor, what is your view
Everybody
on
has
that?
an opinion. The decision board is the legislative body of the city, which is the council.
Well, and I guess to add on to that too, I would hope that you guys would help us, because you guys are the sustainability board, to put pressure onto those who do have the decision-making, and being able to help us kind of push, not our agenda, but to really do your own research and figure out, you know, what are we really losing here? What's the, not the 5-year, not the 10-year, but what's the 100-year, what's the 300-year plan looking like on this? Because it's just more concrete, and that's not sustainable. So I hope that you guys can, you know, put a little bit of pressure.
Thank you. I
From the
think
way
what
that
we'll
you
do is
go.
put it on our next agenda, and we'll, in the meantime, we'll talk to other folks and.
Yeah.
And they've had
and,
alternatives too that we hadn't heard yet either, so
Yes,
I think
exactly.
there's still a lot to learn, and
Right.
again, there's like so many outstanding questions that nobody's
Right.
making a decision right now anyway, so, but
Mhm. But
But
thank
we
you
all
so
need
much.
more information.
Yeah.
What are the
Really
options of
everybody's
what's going
opinion.
to actually happen, yeah. But,
Madam Chair, if I may?
Dave?
There was a comment made earlier, which due to a couple of different other comments, I feel was really rather targeted, specifically against me, a comment specifically that said, recent attempts to silence me have failed. Rather than just state that, I think that's a huge misrepresentation and inaccuracy of what happened, I will just point out that,
Comments made tonight?
no. It was a public meeting that the commissioners had last week, and that public meeting, like all public meetings, is online. So I'll just say, go watch the meeting if you'd like an accurate representation of what happened and what comments were made and what comments were not made.
With regard to this topic?
With regards to whether an effort has been made to attempt to silence some people. Most of the people who know me know better, so I don't really feel a need to defend that, but like I said, at the same time, it's also a public record that's out there, so.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll check it out. Sounds nice. Move to adjourn. Let's move to adjourn.
second.
Okay. We
Thanks
never
for
go
coming.
over an hour, and we're 10 minutes over, so.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.